Okay, here's the big question. When is enough enough? Especially when it comes to exercise. Because I got to tell you, this is a big limiting factor for a lot of people. At RX Healthy Habits, what we find is a lot of people have a tough time getting into a long-term consistent exercise program. And I don't blame them because, they go there and they get burned out after a couple visits to the gym. And maybe they get really sore or maybe they get so wiped out and they're like, this is crazy. But what's enough? When is enough in exercise? So I'm going to go through and talk in this video, try to keep it brief, but whatever I don't cover is in a blog on our website, and it's titled the same thing, Enough is Enough, what the AHA guidelines are for exercise. And the American AHA stands for the American Heart Association. So here's a skinny, if you want to call it, on how much exercise you need per week. The average American should really strive to get 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise per week. And secondarily, they should consider doing 2 days a week of strength training, like lifting or some type of muscle toning. And I got to tell you, both of those really do make a big difference together versus just doing one. And the last thing I'll say is besides 150 minutes per week, which is roughly about 30 minutes per day of moderate activity. We're going to describe that in a minute, and we're going to describe vigorous. But 150 minutes of moderate activity is a good start to get you some benefits. I'm talking about some health benefits that are perceivable, and you'll notice them, and so will your doctor. But when you go to 300 minutes, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, 300 minutes is a lot. That's an hour 5 times a week. Yes, I know. I didn't start there. I'm there now and sometimes more because I saw the benefits of going from 150 to 300, and now I see the benefits of 300 plus. Now, I don't go crazy, but if I have the time, especially, with my work schedule to get in more than 300, I try to. Now, it's not all vigorous. It's mainly moderate, and some might be considered mild and moderate if it's a long 5-mile hike or something, but let's go through. So that's the guidelines. That's an AHA, American Heart Association. They ought to know, right? So, and here at RX Healthy Habits, we like to follow the science of some of the people that are on the cutting edge. And, of course, number one cause of death in America is heart attack, coronary. So they pretty much have a lot of credibility here, would you guess? So here's 7 examples of moderate intensity aerobic exercise. Brisk walking, cycling or at a moderate pace, and I apologize to look at my notes, but I want to get it right for you. Water aerobics, I saw some people today doing that, and I'm like, that might be mild to moderate. It depends how intense they get into it, but dancing. Yeah, some really good dancing can really get your heart pumping. Walking uphill with a backpack. This is when we go hiking. We always like to load it up with our water packs so we can get a bit more of a moderate workout. Doubles tennis. I don't know if pickleball would fall in here. I know a lot of the people here in the community do that, but I'm not sure. I guess it depends how intense you are. Using a rowing machine and really getting after it. That's all moderate, okay? Now, here's some examples of some vigorous intensity aerobic. And 75 minutes a week would suffice here, but this is staying in that zone if you want to call it a vigorous. Running or jogging. High-intensity interval training called HIIT training. I think you've heard of that. Very good. Swimming laps. My wife and I just got out of the pool. Got 70 laps in, a little over a mile. Did it under an hour. That would be considered vigorous. Now, if we really don't stop at all and just do the whole 70 laps, that would definitely be a rigorous and put us in zone 4 or 5. I'll explain that in a minute. Jumping rope, like the Rocky Balboa thing, pump it out. Playing basketball or soccer, very vigorous exercise. And of course, cross-country skiing. Now, real quick, what are the benefits? What are the benefits of doing 150 minutes per week? And when that adds up to 300, I'm going to talk about the added. So at 150 per week, you're looking at improved cardiovascular health. Number one, that is the biggie, okay? And that's going to reduce some of your risk because your heart and vessels are going to be more healthy. You're going to have less risk, especially when you get to a higher level of 300 minutes of reducing heart disease and stroke. Now, moderate intensity is going to be good, and I would, strive to get there. Even if you can only do half of the 150 per week, it's better than none. Strive to get to 150. But once you get to that higher level of 150 to 300, now you're going to start seeing some really things to reduce the chances of heart disease and stroke. And it's higher than those that just do 150 minutes. So just want to throw that out there. Better weight management. So 150 minutes is going to help with weight management, burn calories. You're going to be in the fat zone burn. That's great. It's going to increase your metabolism. But those that go to 300 minutes, of course, see added benefits, and they achieve greater weight loss and maintenance. So for weight loss, better weight management. Number 2, you really want to think about the 150 minutes as a starting point. Reduce risk of chronic diseases across the board. Now, this is interesting. Diseases such as diabetes, cancers, osteoporosis, this is going to reduce your risk. And the good news is, even at 150 minutes, there's a reduction that's pretty similar to 300. I got to tell you, though, for especially diabetes, you want to get your weight down so you can stay away from pre-diabetes. So that's important. Now, next one, improve mental health. This goes without saying. Symptoms of depression and anxiety are reduced when somebody's doing their 150 minutes. But also, you might see a reduction in the risk of Alzheimer's or dementia, which is pretty interesting. Cognitive function goes up when you exercise. So 150 minutes per week, starting point, fantastic. When you get more intense, you see more of that elevation of mood, if you want to call it, and it might have something to do with endorphins. I'm not sure, but I know that when I do 300 minutes per week, I have much more vitality, energy, enthusiasm. You can tell now. It might be also the espresso. Increased overall quality of health, without a doubt. Couch potatoes don't fare as well as people that exercise, and it's just night and day and how you feel and your stamina, and there's so many factors. I would think when you're sedentary, you just don't, in all respects, whether it be your mood, your energy, it's all affected. So real quick, we're going to end with this. What is a heart zone minute? Because a lot of your Fitbit devices, I'm not wearing mine, I just took it off for a shower, but my Fitbit device does track my heart zone. And I want to talk about it real quick because this is something so important. It's a measure of your workout and your heart rate during that workout. Now, so the heart zone is based on your maximum heart rate, and zone 1 through 5 is going to be based on that. Here's how you figure out your maximum heart rate. Take 220 minus your age, and that's your maximum heart rate. So I am 63 years old, so 220 minus 63, I think it comes out to be like 157 or something like that. So I have to stay in that range below that, because if you hit your maximum heart rate, you're not going to stay there long. It's probably not a good idea. Professional athletes can. That's beyond zones 5 and 6 that we're going to talk about in a minute. So what are the zones? So your maximum heart rate is your 220 minus your age. That's your maximum. You don't want to be there too long. Yeah, you don't want to exceed that too much. Zone 1 is 50 to 60% of your maximum heart rate. So that's going to be pretty much just 50% of what your maximum heart rate should be. So that's really not much. That's where you can talk while you're doing your exercise with somebody and you're really not out of breath. Zone 2 is 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate. Zone 3 is 70 to 80%. Now here's where it gets a little bit more tough. You're huffing and puffing and you're maybe having some trouble talking. This is a little bit more strenuous. You're probably still in the moderate range, believe it or not, though. You're still moderate intensity. And then when you get to zone 4, that's 80 to 90%. This is where you're really pumping it out and you're really struggling. And then zone 5 is 90 to 100%. Now, I achieve this once in a while when I'm on my bike and I'm going uphill and I stand up out of the saddle and I pump as hard as I can up that hill. And I get to the top, I am winded. And I look at my watch and I'm like, oh boy, I'm at 145. I'm a little bit close, but that's okay. I don't stay there long. So you can stay there as a matter of minutes. So heart rate zones, very important. And when you look at it, I think one of the guidelines they're saying is if you can get 75 to 90 minutes in zone 1, that's good for a week. So, the 150 minutes of moderate intensity, but if you can get in that zone, that's good. So I would highly recommend you read more about it. And when you're doing your devices, take a look at your, not just how much time you exercise, how many calories you burned, take a look at your heart zones. So hope that information helps. And listen, don't be intimidated by getting started, because a lot of people say, look, I just don't want to, it's so intimidating. I start, I stop, I start, I stop. Just get into something. Even if it's 75 minutes, even if it's like 15 minutes, 5 times a week. I mean, that's 60 minutes. That's a start. We started there. We started just walking. Then we started doing other things. Then I started biking. Then I started swimming. Then I started lifting. And now, we're at the best shapes of our lives in our 60s. How great we are? No. We just decided to say we're going to take it one step, one lap at a time, one backpack hike at a time. So you can do it. We're here to help. And for more information, always come to our website, RxHealthyHabits.com, and our YouTube channel, same name. All of our platforms have the same name, RX Healthy Habits. We'd love to have you join us on this journey because it's fantastic. So until next podcast or next video.